Hi, and welcome to the Cybersecurity Q A series, episode 05. This week's episode takes a new dimension as we introduce questions related to all the fields in cybersecurity, starting with network-based DDoS attack down to the NIST cybersecurity framework, and we proceed to conclude this week's episode with a question on network forensic. So without wasting much of your time, let's get straight to today's episode. What are the most common types of network-based DDoS attack? A. Symmetric DDoS attack. B. Asymmetric DDoS attack. C. IPsec flooding attack. D. A and B. E. None of the above. F. All of the above. To get the right answer for this question, let's understand what a network-based DDoS attack is all about. Network bandwidth-based DDoS attacks are attacks that flood a victim infrastructure with the intent of starving it of its bandwidth resources. Network DDoS attack can be categorized into two, symmetric and asymmetric. So having understood what a network-based DDoS attack is all about, the correct answer to this question is D, A and B, symmetric DDoS attack and asymmetric DDoS attack. Moving on to question number 2. You are a security researcher who works for ABC company. During a DDoS incident event, you discovered that the threat actor compromised a victim server by spoofing the source IP address and making a series of ICMP requests. What type of DDoS attack did the threat actor use? A. Fraggle attack. B. Application reflector attack. C. Smurf attack. D. Amplified attack. E. None of the above. F. All of the above. Going back to this question right now, we have a series of keywords. First is that the incident that occurred in the organization is a DDoS incident. Second, the threat actor sent a series of packets spoofing the source IP address, and these packets sent a series of packets that makes an ICMP request. And the final key point here we're asked is what type of DDoS attack has the threat actor used? To get the correct answer to this question, let's first of all understand the various types of DDoS attack. Fraggle attack. In a fraggle attack, the attacker makes requests using UDP packets, targeting UDP ports or services. Reflector attack. The reflector attack sends UDP packets across public UDP servers, reflecting the attack to the victim. Amplified attack, on the other hand, are conducted with small packets requests, while the responses are amplified and redirected to the victim server. The magnitude of this type of attack is dependent on the amplification factor when conducted. Smurf attack, on the other hand, is carried out by the threat actor broadcasting a series of ICMP packets over a host network with the intent of directing the echo replies to the victim server. Having defined what these various types of attacks are, the correct answer to this question is option C, Smurf attack. A smurf attack are attacks based on packets which are capable of making ICMP echo requests while sending echo replies to the victim server. Moving on to question number 3. Which of these DDoS-based attack involves making a request on behalf of the target via a router, resulting to the router broadcasting this request over the entire network? Option I, amplification attack. Option II, fraggle attack. Option III, smurf attack. Option IV, reflection attack. Answer number A is III, and IV. Option number B is II, and IV. Option number C is III and IV. Option number D is II and III. Option number E is none of the above. And option number F is all of the above. To be able to answer this question, let's understand which of these attacks make requests on behalf of the target by sending a series of requests via a router over a network. Smurf and fraggle-based DDoS attack involves the threat actor making a series of requests on behalf of the target via a router, with the router broadcasting to all hosts on its network. For smurf attacks, requests are made using ICMP packets, while fraggle attacks involve sending requests via UDP packets. So having defined this, the correct answer to this question is II and III, which is option D, smurf and fraggle attack. To read more about network-based attacks, kindly visit the link in this presentation for more information. Question number 4. Which of the following best describes how an organization can use the cybersecurity framework known as the NIST CSF in managing cybersecurity risk? Option I, understand. Option II, assess. Option III, prioritize. Option IV, communicate. Answer number A is II, IV. Option number B is III, IV. Option number C is III, and IV. Option number D is II and IV. Option number E, none of the above. Option number F, all of the above. Going back to the question, we're given keywords here is best describes and managing cybersecurity risk. To be able to get the right answer to this question, let's understand the various steps a security professional should take in managing an organization's cybersecurity risk. The NIST Cybersecurity Framework helps organizations in understanding, assessing, prioritizing, and communicating cybersecurity risk. So having defined the NIST Cybersecurity Framework, for you to be able to manage your organization risk, you have to follow these various steps in the right order. First, you have to understand the organization's business. Next, you have to assess the various infrastructure and equipment that this organization uses in conducting their business. Next, you have to prioritize this critical infrastructure based on their order of importance and cost. Then lastly, you have to communicate these various steps or various security assessment that you have conducted to the higher-ups or executives and stakeholders of the organization. So having defined this, the correct answer to this question is all of the above, all 4 options. Option number F is the right answer to this question. Moving on to question number 5. What are the core or nucleus of which the NIST Cybersecurity Framework is based on? I, function. II, implementation. III, categories. IV, subcategories. Option A is II, and IV. Option B is III and IV. Option C is III and IV. Option D is II and IV. Option E is none of the above. Option F is all of the above. To be able to get the right answer to this question, let's first understand the core values which the NIST framework is based on. The NIST Cybersecurity Framework core is the heart or nucleus of the CSF, the Cybersecurity Framework. It is a taxonomy which is used in grouping outcomes in cybersecurity and assist organizations in managing cybersecurity risk. This cybersecurity framework core are based on hierarchy of functions, categories, and subcategories. So having defined the NIST core values or nucleus of the NIST Cybersecurity Framework, the correct answer to this question is function, which is I. Next is III, which is categories. And the last is IV, which is subcategories. The right answer is option number C. Moving on to question number 6. In the new NIST Cybersecurity Framework dubbed CSF 2.0, which of the function is newly added to the core of the framework? A. Identify. Option B. Govern. Option C. Protect. Option D. B and C. Option E. None of the above. Option F. All of the above. So let's understand the NIST Cybersecurity Framework and the newly added function to this framework. The NIST Cybersecurity Framework version 1.1 has the following functions: identify, detect, recover, and response. In the newest version of the CSF, of the Cybersecurity Framework, the function govern was introduced. Having understood the various functions of the NIST cybersecurity framework, right from the version 1 down to the version 2, we can categorically state that the right answer to this question is option B, which is govern. So moving on to question number 7. In the NIST cybersecurity framework, what are the strategies you could use as a professional in assisting and informing your organization on improving its cybersecurity posture? I. Scope your organizational profile. II. Gathering needed information about your organization. III. Creating your organizational profile. IV. Analyze gaps and create an action plan for your organization. V. Implement the action plan and update your organization's profile. Option A gives us I, II, and IV. Option B gives us II, and IV. Option C gives us I, and V. Option D gives us I, IV, and V. Option E gives us none of the above. Option F, all of the above. To be able to get the right answer to this question, let's understand the strategies that can be used in improving your organization's cybersecurity posture. The steps or strategies of creating and using the NIST cybersecurity framework or an organization's profile are: Option 1, scope the organizational profile. Option 2, gather the needed information. Option 3, create the organizational profile. Option 4, analyze gaps and create an action plan. Option 5, implement action plan and update profile. Having defined these various strategies, the correct answer to this question is all of the above. Moving on to question number 8. Which of the Git command copies the changes made from a GitHub repository? A. Pull. B. Push. Clone. D. Head. E. None of the above. F. All of the above. To be able to understand the right answer to the various options given, let's define the various Git commands. Pull. This command, when used, copies the changes made to an instance of a remote repository. Push. When this command is used, changes made to the local repository instances are made to the remote repository. Clone. This operation is used to create an instance of the repository locally on your machine or computer. Head. This is a pointer that points to the latest commit in a repository branch. Having defined these various options, the correct answer to this question is pull, because we were asked which of the command is used to copy the changes from a GitHub repository. So the right answer to this question is option A, pull. Moving on to question number 9. Which of these best describes the keys you add to your GitHub account to enable you connect with your computer remotely? A. SSH keys and private keys. B. SSH keys and public keys. C. SSH keys. D. SFTP protocol. E. None of the above. F. All of the above. So let's understand this question by dissecting the keywords. The keywords here say keys you add to your GitHub account and connect with your computer remotely. So basically, we're talking about the GitHub web application and connecting remotely to our computer. To be able to connect with your GitHub account remotely, you need to set up an SSH connection. This connection, when set up, generates both private and public keys. The private key resides on your computer remotely, and the public key is configured on your GitHub account via a web browser. So having understood how to set up an SSH connection between your computer and your GitHub account, the correct answer to this question is option B, SSH keys and public keys. Moving on to the last question for this week's episode. Which of the following is the third phase of the network forensic life cycle? Option A, initiation, assessing the risk. Option B, maintenance. Option C, review and reporting. Option D, acquisition. Option E, none of the above. Option F, all of the above. Going back to the question, we were asked which of the following options given is the third phase of the network forensic life cycle. So to be able to get the right answer to this question, let's list the various phases in a network forensic investigation. The network forensic life cycle in the right order are initiation, assessing the risk. 2. Acquisition, repository. 3. Implementation, calibration test. 4. Maintenance. 5. Review and reporting. Going back to the question, we were asked the third phase of the network forensic life cycle. And from the definition, the third phase is implementation. Are we given that in the options? No. So the correct answer to this question is option E, none of the above. Moving on to the trophy for the week. If you got all questions correctly, you won the first prize, which is the Code Trophy. Congratulations. If you scored 8 out of 10 questions correctly, you won the Silver Trophy. Congratulations for your efforts. And if you scored 7 out of 10 questions, congratulations, you won the Bronze Medal. And for those who did not have any of the scores listed here, congratulations. There's always a better time to improve. And don't beat yourself up. Cybersecurity is like this, and you always have to know more by studying more and getting yourself exposed to more information and researching various subject matters in cybersecurity. We have finally come to an end of today's episode, and we hope you learned something new. If there are other ways you think we can make this content better, please drop your comment below and let us know. Also, do not forget to give us the goodies, which are the likes by tapping the thumbs up button, subscribe by hitting the subscribe button, and click that notification bell to be the first to get notified when the next episode drops. Thank you for watching, and see you next week on another episode of the Cybersecurity Q A series with Fix It Get With Security. Bye for now.